Hi folks, welcome back to the Hoard. So the sun is almost out, though I'm not quite to charge yet. So it's about 11:15. Welcome to New Year's Eve 2015. 41.8 degrees, 6.1 degrees, 83% humidity. Welcome back to the Hoard, folks. Let's see, what are we up to today? You guys remember that thing? I dragged it in from downstairs, and just to refresh everybody's memory, this is a 1987 TRX 250SX. You know, everybody has an opinion. They're kind of like a butthole or something, right? Everybody's got one. But in my opinion, for two-wheel drive sport quads, this is one of the best ones out there. It's light. It's fairly strong for how light it is. I like this bike. I just happen to like the this particular version. It's light enough that somebody my size could really kind of throw it around, and it responds to it. Different bikes have different purposes. I mean, obviously that 300 is an excellent utility vehicle. Four-wheel drive, it'll pull a horse. This guy here, this Kawasaki, even though I'm a Honda guy, I like the fact that it's got a recoil start and an electric start and reverse and more racks than you know what to do with. It makes a really nice utility bike. But for romping about and throwing it around, it's a heavy bike, right? It's a bit heavy for that. Where this thing is nice and light. The Mojave, Kawasaki Mojave. Different bike, hand clutch, which has its advantages and disadvantages. Hand clutch, kind of a pest in the woods, where things are tight and you got to go slow and get around trees, hop over walls and stuff like that. If you got to go slow, a hand clutch is a pest. And a tad heavier. It's heavier than this bike. So personally, for me, I like the TRX 200SX. Anyway, I got this bike after the car show in May. I had a friend that I did some deals with at the car show, introduced me to a buddy who had a bunch of stuff he wanted to get rid of, and I think I paid $150 for this thing, considering all four tires hold air, and you know, the steering is not falling off. It's still relatively tight and all. As a matter of fact, the front tires I think are about new. I think they almost, yeah, they still got little nubs of the nubs on them. So nice bike. After I got this bike, I fired it up on my 12-volt ignition system. And I was happy. It starts, it runs. Typical of these bikes, they like to throw the chain and crash the case. This thing has the chain guard, and I didn't take that off, but in addition, this chain guard might also be a case protector. So I like that. The whole back end is tight. It's not doing this kind of stuff, which would help it throw the chain. So I'm pleased with it from that point of view. It did not come with any plastic. And quite honestly, the seat was a bit of a piece of junk. Nice that I have the bike, but a lot of the bikes you get have this kind of situation going on. The wiring, right, you got things disconnected. The wiring is just a mess. So I'm always trying to bring these bikes back on the cheap. And this is one of the things I showed you. This is a pit bike ignition system, obviously an eBay deal. Wiring loom, harness, kill switch, ignition, coil, CDI for a pit bike. Let's see. That's who I got it for, per mile, 77. And you guys could see it cost less than $20. So for less than 20 bucks, you could take this pit bike ignition system and throw it on here. Free economy shipping from China. It does take about 2 weeks to get to you. So once again, that's the title, right across the top there. Back up, maybe you can read the whole thing at once. You could see it came from Per Mile. You could see the price, less than 20 bucks. And does it work, right? I mean, what's the use of it if it doesn't work? Before I show you that it works, let me just show you how to hook it up. Green wires, very, very important. Green wires, one grounding to the case. This black lead goes to a green wire right here on the harness. I think you guys could see it. That's blue. I think that finger, this one right here. I think you guys could see it. Anyway, blue and yellow goes to on the harness. Blue and white. See that right there? This is black and red, and black and red goes to, I think that's black and red here, right? I'm having trouble spinning it around such that I'm getting the red. So that's all hooked up. The starter I have, that goes to the hot lead on the starter. That's obviously going to ground. And what happens when you turn the key? And to turn it off. So the whole ignition system works that easy. You have to hook up 1, 2, 3, 4 wires, and got to clip the end on the spark plug, right? And she fires right up. This bike I had put a brand new carb on before this whole situation, and I fired it up. Then I did nothing with it, and I thought I ran it until I ran the carb out of fuel. But I opened the carb up and it was full of this kind of crap, and that's probably like 20%. There's probably 5 times more than that in there. So I don't know. I had it covered, but I don't know if it took some water in through the boot, or it had just absorbed bad news. I'm not sure what its story was, but it really, the carb was a mess inside. You can see, got my little gas line here and my little fuel tank. You know, when you watch other people's videos, you learn this kind of stuff. Musty One always has little fuel bottles like that floating around that he kind of tickles everything with. So he could get things to start right. You don't have to do that. Battery's all charged with the sun directly on the cells. So there we are. Firing up a Honda 1987 Honda TRX200SX on a $20 pit bike ignition. None of the other wiring is used. As you look at the ignition systems on these bikes, you should always break them into 2 pieces. You have the ignition system that runs the spark, okay? And generally speaking, on most Honda stuff, it is independent of the 12-volt ignition system, except for ground, right? When you have ground is common for both the 12-volt and the spark side of the ignition. If, like, obviously, I set this up to run on the pit bike, which means it's using the stator coil for the AC to power the CDI unit. It's using a little pulser down there to trigger the pulse at exactly the right time to fire the CDI to make the whole thing run. It is also, this thing also has stator coils that produce approximately between 30 and 40 volts AC, and then I only see 2 yellow wires here, so it's got a 2-phase charging circuit that goes to a regulator and keeps your battery up to par. But once again, 2 separate ignition systems. Don't confuse them. When you see a hacked wiring harness, you go, oh my god, what the hell am I going to do with this? Well, the first thing you need to do is forget about it. The second thing you need to do is go to eBay and order a couple of these cheap pit bike ignition systems. And the third thing you need to do is watch this video again so you can figure out how to hook it all up. Fourth thing is hook it up, fire the bike up, and to heck with your 12-volt ignition system until you want to go through the trouble of troubleshooting it. To heck with the bike ignition system, unless, once again, you want to go through the trouble of making it work. This, welcome to New Year's Eve, and I would like to say Happy New Year's to all my subscribers out there, all the people watching this video, anyone who comes within reach of my voice. Hopefully God continues to share His abundance with all of us and helps us with whatever burdens we may carry. It's a lot easier when the good Lord helps with that kind of stuff, eh? And don't forget, folks, prayer never hurts. So I'd like to say Happy New Year's to everyone out there. For me, this is also a strange day because I have to go in tonight and hand in my telephone, my badge, my computer, because this is my last night at work. Some of you know the company I used to work for was sold. When the company was sold, I was able to retire from them and start collecting my pension. The new company offered me a 6-month transitional thing to help them come up to speed, and my 6 months is over. I guess they consider themselves up to speed, or my service is too expensive, or whatever they consider. But after tonight, I will not be going there as a job any longer. And with that, I have very, very mixed feelings. I've been working continuously for the last just about 35 years now, and it's someplace you go. You wake up and you either go to work or it's a day that you have off, but you have a job. But whether or not you go to work, whether it's a day off or you have a day that you're going in, you have a job. I no longer have a job, and after 35 years with these two companies and years, whether it was in college with the family construction business or college with the working for the food service, or having my own little hi-fi business or whatever it was, I always had a job. So this is going to be a little strange. This is going to be a bit of a transition for me personally. Somewhat of a transition for my wife also, because she used to always count on, at some point I would have to leave the house and go to work. That I no longer have to do. I mean, obviously you got to leave the house once in a while. There's always a deal. There's always something to think about or play with or consider. There's always something going on, but yeah, now I don't have to leave in a routine basis to go to work. Obviously I gotta leave occasionally and go to the store or get gas or get a deal, but I no longer have to leave the house to go to work. So that is going to be a change. I hope everyone gets to try this, and I hope everybody gets to try it before they get old and decrepit and so forth. Hopefully you can get to your retirement while you're still young enough to go out and play and enjoy your time. But I'm always saying, whether you're retired or you're working or whatever, make sure you get out there and enjoy all your days. because you don't know how many you're going to get, be you retired or be you working. Anyway, folks, once again, best wishes for the new year. Remember to keep your feet and tires down, keep your head and handlebars up, stay out the buckwheat. Thanks for watching and commenting and subscribing. Please like this video because it helps spread the word a little further, and hopefully other people watch, and I watch your videos, and we all work our way up. Never a bad thing. Once again, thanks for watching and commenting and subscribing. Bye now, folks.